Mr. Ferguson, this question goes to you first. This fall, voters will decide on the fate of 4 initiatives, including I-2117, which would repeal the state's Climate Commitment Act, which calls for having the state's largest polluters pay for carbon emissions. Are you going to vote for this initiative? And if not, what should the state's role be in fighting climate change?
So I'll be voting no on the initiative. In other words, I'm opposed to repealing the Climate Commitment Act. And just want to elaborate that for a moment. This will be a critical issue facing our voters, and I believe that the Climate Commitment Act needs to be adjusted. For example, farmers are entitled to an exemption under the Climate Commitment Act. That hasn't happened yet. When I'm elected governor, I've met with farmers in Odessa. We're going to make sure that the state follows through on the promise to make sure those farmers get the exemption they're entitled to. Something else I would change with the Climate Commitment Act. Look, that act helps fund a working families tax credit. That's helping out working families all across the state. We need to expand the amount of money going to that working families tax credit to help Washingtonians all across the state. Finally, what I'll add is there's a transition coming to a clean energy economy in this state. We need to embrace that. Why? It's good for clean air, it's good for clean water, but guess what? It's also good for jobs. I was in Wenatchee, went to an apprenticeship training program there. What were those hundreds and hundreds of Washingtonians training for? Clean energy economy. Those are jobs for Washingtonians all across the state, and that's a key reason why I also support the act, but it does need to be adjusted as we move forward.